Welcome to USMLE Sarthi. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
Welcome everyone. This is the Sarthi's annual conference, and I am very delighted to share excellent match results of our students. So today and tomorrow, you will hear from a lot of Sarthi students, and what you will see, everyone sees I matched and all that, but that is a culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of struggle and challenges that the students have overcome. So as you hear our students, keep in mind that this was not just 11th of March. It did not happen on 28th of September or 11th of March. This is a series of hard work, the efforts that they have all put in, and you will need to put in, whether it's research, rotations, a lot of rejections, dejection, maybe some students matched in multiple attempts. Maybe they had an attempt or gaps or red flags. So keep all of that in mind as you hear from our very happy, hopefully excited students over a course of these 2 days. So then in terms of housekeeping, you can ask questions in the chat. The panelists will come and go. It's a long conference, and I don't want to hold them back. We will not be sharing their email or any other information. So for everything, you have to go through us. So please respect their privacy. Don't ask any questions that they feel uncomfortable answering. They will not answer it. So but rest everything you can ask in chat, and they'll look at it and they'll answer. We'll have a series of our students, like I said, and that's pretty much the agenda for two days. You will hear from different specialties, you will hear from different profiles and all that. And without further ado, I want to just dive into the conference. So how this will work is, I'll introduce each speaker by name, and they can come in. They will tell you about themselves, whatever they want to share. And then primarily, all of them have had certain challenges. So they will share what challenges they faced in the journey and how they overcame, and, what you can learn from them, the aspirants for the 2025 match or beyond. So whether it is rotations, research, match, interview prep, whatever you can glean out of these nuggets, I think that is our give back to the community, and that is our intent. And without further ado, let me go to our first speaker now, Amrita Suresh. Amrita, all yours. Welcome, congratulations, and the floor is all yours.
Pawan. Hi guys, I am Amrita. I actually pre-matched in a program in New York in pediatrics, and I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a old graduate. Neither was I a young graduate. I graduated in 2018, so that was a challenge to try to convince the person sitting opposite to me in the interview that it's please give me a shot. I mean, I guess that was the whole point. And I was supported throughout by my mentors in Sarthi and otherwise to guide me in the right direction, to show me how to tell my story, to be able to. I remember the first meeting I had with Dr. Pawan. It was he said the same thing. He said that everybody in America loves a good story. It's about saying the story the right way, and so I kept that in my mind. And throughout my match, throughout this journey, I kept that in the back of my mind, how to present my story in the best way possible. And I guess that's what helped me at the end of the day.
So any other challenges, anything else, any tips for the students that you want to share?
As a tip, one thing that I think helped me the most was networking. I guess everybody starts out with this statement, which I've heard on multiple social media platforms, where people say, but I have no contacts. That's not entirely true. You should build your contacts. You should start from the get-go. Like, I remember asking the Indian grocery lady here in where I live in Pennsylvania, because that was the attitude. Like, everybody around me knew I was applying for a match and I was looking for pediatric positions, and I let everybody know how passionate I was about pediatrics. I mean, everybody need not be able to help you, and that's okay. The idea is you don't know how they're going to be able to help you. I mean, what can a grocery lady actually do? But I got a rotation through her, and in a good reputed university. So you should never like look down upon a person. You never know who's going to help you. So keep an open mind and network extensively, build your network, build your own contacts, establish your own, and everybody starts somewhere. Nobody actually comes into the system with a lot of connections. I mean, some people are lucky, but that's okay. If you're not lucky enough, it's fine. You should build your own, and everybody can do it. It's just about, letting go of that ego in you that, I'm going to take help. Just let go of that and just ask. Sometimes they'll accept, sometimes they won't, and that's okay. Just have an open attitude, and most people, 99% of people, will be willing to help you.
Yeah. So you had fewer number of interviews. So tell us how you kind of made it count. What was your attitude in the interviews, and how did you make sure that the fewer interviews you could convert or get an offer?
Yeah. So, getting the interview was one part of the story. But once you get the interview, that's your chance. You should be able to talk yourself into a program, right? So, right from the get-go, I used to watch all of the Sarthi videos. I spoke to my Sarthi mentor too, and I had like a list of questions that I had answered. I used to practice, standing in front of the mirror. I used to talk and I used to time myself so that, I don't take too long, neither do I take too less of a time. And, towards the end of the season, I had around 6 interviews, but towards the end, it was not my 6th interview. It was almost my 10th or 11th interview, because I had practiced with Sarthi, I had practiced with my other mentors. Like, I would approach mentors in my rotation itself and ask, and this is a tip that I got from one of the previous Sarthi videos that I had watched, that you can just ask anybody for an interview prep. They just have to spend 20 minutes with you, and they will be more than happy to. And pediatrics as a department is very helpful. Like, that was my feedback that I got, that usually pediatrics they are very helpful and they are very interested in mentoring, which is true. So I just took advantage of that. I used to ask everybody if it's possible. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You won't get it. And you'll get at least one good tip from everybody's interview story. Every person has a nice interview story or question that can change the way you answer your question the next time it's asked to you. And so then I wouldn't say I wasn't surprised during the interview season, like with questions, but I was well equipped to handle it. So that's my tip for interview prep.
So starting tip. So let's say someone is applying in pediatrics in the 2025 match. What should they do now? What would be your tip?
US clinical experience. Try to get as many as you can. It's a little harder for pediatrics and inpatient rotation, but that's okay. I mean, that's just another hurdle, like multiple other hurdles. So you write cold emails, network. Like I said, if you're from a particular country, you might have maybe relatives in your distant relatives that you don't actually talk to who are doctors. Knock on their door, ask them if they know, and if okay, you might most probably meet with internal medicine doctors. That's okay. They'll have kids who go to pediatricians. So ask them. Usually if there's a kid in picture, there is a pediatrician in the picture. So you just ask them, can you connect me with your pediatrician? Is that something that you can help me with? And like that, they will have some tips to give you. They might be from a totally different country, but they'll have a totally different perspective from their network. Like that, you can connect and make your own network. And it's more about, I feel like, a mind block that people have to just ask. once you get over that mind block, you're pretty good to go. Everybody is good to go. Everybody can do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amrita. So if you have questions for her, put it in the chat. And, Amrita, if you can look at the chat, and
Sure.
if there are questions, please
Happy
feel
to help.
free to answer. Those of you looking for rotations in pediatrics, we do have some. So take a look at our website. And I think Sneha from our team, I can see, is there. So she can send you the link. Moving on. So Mudassar, he's one of the most passionate guys, and what he didn't know about match even before matching wasn't worth knowing. So he had a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and he put it to good use. So congratulations, Mudassar, and welcome. And please feel free to share your experience and tips and helping the upcoming match applicants.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Pawan, first of all, to letting me here. So, well, Sir Pawan has said, we are in match process. I word the word we because we started, me and my wife, the process of this USMLE in 2015, although we are graduated much before than that. We came in the USA and my wife first started her fellowship. And by knowing already that she is in USA and working as a clinical fellow for 2 years. So I'm stopping this story here, and then I'll be moving that why we hired Sarthi at that time. We all know that in each immigrant, in each program, average, if like a program have 10 seats and all the other program has 20 seats. So let's go with a program with the 22 seats, they will get in applications of around 5,500. So now you have done step 1, you have done step 2, you have done clinical experience, but there should be something which make your CV special to pull your CV out from this huge sea of the CVs into the 300 CVs. Why I said the word 300? Because program will do the interview not more than 350 if they have 22 seat. So there should be something special. There should be something sparking in front of the program director, of the chief selector, of the other people who were pulling your CV. And when I feel that there is a difference, because when we started the process of my wife, and we asked my friend that please give me CV, please give me CV. Some of them are matched and some of them didn't match. And when we prepared her CV, that's a huge difference. That is, I cannot say in the words unless you will see other people who have done with it. This is the point number 1. The point number 2, if you guys will go and look on the resident who have already matched in different programs, you will see like in a university program, if I will categorize like in 22 or 25 seats, you will see only 2 or 3 people there, immigrant, because I will talk about the immigrants because we are the immigrants, not more than 4 or 5. So let's back. If the program have 22 seats and they are giving 350. So in one day, there are minimal or maximal, they are interviewing around 10 to 15 people per day. So this is the time of your interview. How you will prepare your interview and what is the specific thing that will bring you up from these 10 to 15 people that program is going to take you. This is the most important thing. That's why I personally myself joined the Sarthi, although I was working as a clinical fellow in the nephrology in an academic institute. I had my contacts in the program. I had my relation with the program director, like she knows me that I'm working here. But even by having all this, I have to join the Sarthi to improve my communication skills. Why? Whatever the context you have, what even your brother is working in the program, even your sister is working in the program, even your wife is working in the program, maximum what they can do, they can give you an interview. No one can force the program director to hire you. You have to prove by yourself that you have something in your own and you are able to talk with them and you are able to communicate with them. This is the most important thing which I think the Sarthi can help you. So how to give then what you can do during the interview, you should not leave the open-ended answers. Answers should be compiled by having some message at the end that, okay, he gave you interview, know what you are going to sell by yourself, what you are bringing in the interview, why you want this interview. There should be some end of the question. This is what I learned from Sarthi, and this is what my wife learned from Sarthi. Number two, when you are giving the interview, the most important thing, you know who is taking your interview, where he got his medical college, where he get his fellowship, what are his research, how you can connect yourself by his mind, by his interests, so that among the 10 to 12 people, you have something which he or she will remember. One day, I can give you one example. One day, and I was really surprised. One day I was working in my office, and next to my office, there was ongoing interview in a closed room. Around 1:30, the attending came out, his hair was up, his eyes was red, and he told me literally like that I am tired. I asked, sir, if you're tired, then and you took the interview, how you remember? He said, I don't remember anything. Whatever they told, I just put in the paper and I will just scan and send it to you. So from that day, I realized really that was helpful for me. I really realized that how important that 10 to 12 minutes. Until unless some small community programs, no one will give you more than 10 to 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, I used to say to the other people that I am taking this as a step 4. We work hard in step 1, we work hard in step 2. Some people give step 3 or no, but this step 4 is the most important. Because in 10 to 15 minutes, it is going to be decisive for your next year or for next year of your life. You can give step 1 again, you can give step 2 again, but you cannot give this step 4 again. So yeah, I can tell you one thing. One day I went to one interview and I told the interviewer that, hey, my story is same like your story. No one can better understand my pain than you. So he said, oh, how it happened? Then I told him that you did graduation, I did graduation. You did this step, I did this step. Then you went for residency, and I am here in front of you for residency. So later on, at the end, he said, I'm going to hire him. So you have to connect your brain with the people who is taking your interview. You have to match. You have to well prepare for interview. I think the interview is the most important part of this all journey. Despite your connection, despite your thing. Yesterday, I was talking with one of my attending. His brother has 10 interview and his was unmatched. And the other one has 3 interview and they match. You will see the lot of the people who has 2 interview, 3 interview. I myself has only 3 interview. And people have 10 interview, they are unmatched. What is the difference? Difference is not that they don't like you. They like you, that's why they gave you the CV. They gave you the interview, they gave you their time. They don't have time, believe me, they don't have time. They gave you the interview because they like your CV. No, they don't like your interview, that's why they did not rank you high. I think so. These are the most important things in the short period of time. And what we can do at this time, this is the right time to prepare, start working on your CV. This is the right time to start working on your personal statement. And for the most important, this is the right time to start the program selection. You should go and see, like you open in one program, you find my name, go and search on the internet, what is my background? What is my year of graduation? And then look 3 or 4 people in the same program, you understand that what is the criteria of this program. Otherwise, if you will appear like in 1,000 program, you spend 2,000 program, but if your program selection is not good, you will not get the interview. Then one more thing, one more important thing the prom outreach. That process is late, but it will be started. It is very important. Like we are sending the emails maybe after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now I will tell you what happened. Prom director is making the round. He will open his mobile. He will see the email and he will keep deleting the emails. So what is the difference that he will open your email? It is a subject. If he like your subject, he will give you interview, and I got an interview like that. I sent an email and in 2 minutes, I got an interview from the same prom. Do you believe that he opened my email? No. He opened the subject? No. I don't think so. He opened my CV. He just opened my subject. It was sparking to him. He opened it and he asked actually the same thing in my interview. The email subject is very important. The subject will open, then he will read a few words, what you have written in the email body. If that body is correct, he will just give you interview. So this is, I think this is the one of the more important subject. In the summarize, we have to start your work. You have to start your work on your CV, personal statement, prom selection, contact, yes, but believe contact will only give you the interview. That is maximum someone can do in the USA for you, nothing more than that. Sir Pawan knows my story, and if I'm saying like that, it is worth.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. So very, very impressive. Thank you very much, Mudassar, for sharing the invaluable tips, and congratulations again to you. Glad to be part of your journey. So we learned a lot from you. So I learned a lot actually.
One more thing, just sorry, sir. Don't push any prom director if you have their contact. If someone conveyed message to the prom director, people is enough to give you interview. Don't send anyone to prom director again and again. Don't be harsh with the prom director. Once in their mind said no, then even his boss cannot change that yes to no. I know these people who applied, like 6 people went to the prom director, and when they decided we were not going to give interview, they would not give interview. He knows that, okay, the sister is working, he is the brother of that sister, that's end. No, after that, your own work start. No, it is your own story. Yeah. Yes, sir, Pawan.
Thank you very much, Mudassar. Appreciate your time and your tips, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. And the next speaker is Anu on our agenda. So Anu, welcome, and feel free to introduce yourself and talk about your experiences, your challenges, and how you overcame.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you for having me here today. And like you said, it's been like it's not just this day. It's been almost a year since I met with you and started working with Sarthi. So I am a 2010 grad. I'm an old grad, and for the first few years, I worked on my exams, did observerships, volunteers, but I got a couple of interviews, but they all didn't work. And then I moved to Washington. So after moving here, so here I got this opportunity to work in clinical research with a limited MD license, which helped me gain the clinical experience. But even with those credentials, I was not able to match. So I was thinking something was not working, and I came to know about the Sarthi team, and I met with Pawan, and that's where it all started. It was a year back. So I spoke with him, and I met with my mentor. And so under guidance of my mentor, I started doing program outreach. Like earlier, Amrita said, you have to let go of the ego. You have to be, I was like I wanted to come out of my comfort zone and start reaching out to everyone. So I sent out these cold emails to almost all programs in all over US, and very few got back. So hundreds of emails I have sent, very few got back. And through that, actually, I got a couple of clinical rotations in programs. That helped me. And in the meantime, I was meeting with my mentor once every month. So I was tracking my progress, if I was doing correct or not. That was very helpful. I watched all the videos with Sarthi, and even for a simple one, like how to write a cold email, like how to write an email to program director or the program. Even that I got to know only from the videos and the subject or the content, what you have to write. My mentor helped me with that. And after that, I did the clinical rotations. Then during the meantime, I started working on my applications. The Sarthi panelists and my mentor, they helped me with the application. It was very helpful. Overall, the program outreach, the clinical experience, and mainly like Mudassar said, the interview prep. So I watched all the videos for the interview prep. I worked on my sample questions. I did the mock interviews with the panelists. They gave me feedbacks after each interview. I reworked on my answers. I practiced again. And like Amrita said, I was doing clinical rotation in a program. And even with the residents, I got to practice few questions with them. And I was talking to them about even questions to ask the PD or the residents. They were very helpful. So overall, I think for this match cycle, starting early, doing program outreach, researching the programs like Mudassar said, and the clinical experience that you get to do during the cycle, plan early, work on that. It's a long period that you have to work on it to get to this day. And I think all these helped me to match the cycle. And I'm thankful for the Sarthi team and my mentor, Dr. Samu.
Thank you very much, Anu. So for those of you who have questions, please put it in the chat and address to everyone, not just the hosts and panelists. If you are interested in looking up our match plans, they are on our website, and I think Aarti and Sneha from our team, they can send you the link. In terms of specific help that some people are asking, cold emailing and all that subject, etc., specific help, you have to join our program, right? I mean, in this webinar, we cannot tell you the title. It is all very personalized, customized, and every kind of help. So take a look. Use this webinar to ask high-level questions that the panel can answer. So let's move on to the next speaker, who is Beltina. So Beltina, are you there? Let me get you your, if you can, yes, you are on mute. Welcome. And
Hi, Pawan.
yes, so Beltina, the floor is yours. Please share your story, your experiences, and how you overcame the challenge.
Very much for the opportunity, Pawan, and I would love to share my experience because it's a little bit of a different one. So I came in the United States in 2016 in a different pathway. My first goal was not the USMLE, but since I decided to stay in the US, of course, I took the steps, and my first application for match after I was done with all the steps was in 2020, where I received a fellowship position in neonatology since I have a pediatric residency in my home country. Due to COVID issues, and also because at that time I had my first child and my husband was in residency, I only finished 2 years of fellowship, and I decided I was not going to continue with my fellowship. So everyone saw it as a weak point in terms of my application because it's not regarded as something positive. That you leave when you leave the training, let's say, without finishing it. Anyways, I believed in myself. I knew it was the right thing to do. I put my family first at that time, and I decided to reapply. last year. What was different was the fact that I was following on your channel on YouTube and all the advice people were giving in your platform, and I knew like the people in Sarthi team were great. So one of the things that it's one of the best quotes I have heard in my life is like, if you want to be successful, it is never a wrong thing to hire the right people to help you succeed. So I was like, I will go with Sarthi. I know they are gonna help me. So the very first thing that I learned from your team was the fact that you really need to be good at introducing yourself in the right way in your CV. So my CV, I had plenty of experiences. Since 2016 until 2020, I have always been active, like asking for rotations, and I was working in a non-clinical job in the hospital, which was like insurance-based mostly. So I had a lot of exposure to the medicine in the United States, where I learned a lot about how the hospitals work and what kind of patients you see and how it is different from home country. So that experience was very, very helpful. I just was not putting it the right way in my CV. So you guys helped me a lot introducing myself in such a way that I was attractive to the programs. And the other thing is, of course, my mentor, she has been wonderful. I just want to say hi to Dr. Nikara. She was great, giving me very wise advice based on her experience as well, since she had similar situation, let's say. And the other thing is that was very, very helpful was the rotations I did during summer last year. I choose 3 rotation. One was in internal medicine, the other one was family medicine, and also I did a tele-rotation in family medicine, because I must mention that I changed specialty. I just knowing the hospital life in the fellowship, I decided that it is in my best interest and my family's best interest to go for outpatient medicine, and just incorporating the knowledge I had from my pediatric residency. Family medicine is what I really wanted to do. So I mentioned in my first choice in family medicine. Also, I must say that I turned down a pre-match offer. Pretty much I can say that I know how important it is to be in a program where you can find a great balance in between your personal life and work. So, but I am very happy with where I matched, and I think I will accomplish great things in the future. So I'm very thankful to all of you. And I just want to say to the old yogs who have a different story, don't give up and really work hard. Find the right mentors, find the right people to guide you, and you will eventually match and be where you are aiming to be.
Well, thank you very much, Beltina. I do have a question before I move on. So pediatrics to FM. So if you can spend a minute on how you made the switch in terms of your experiences, in terms of just the profile, because we do get a lot of questions. Can I switch from my prime specialty if I have a residency to another one?
Yes, so I must say that family medicine has pediatrics in it, and also has more available spots. If you see the results of the available spots for programs. So I will still keep the knowledge I have from pediatrics, but also I had a lot of exposure. As I said, when I was working in the hospital in the United States, my main exposure was internal medicine. So knowing that kind of exposure and good letters of recommendations that I had for adult medicine, incorporating the knowledge and my previous experience in pediatrics, it made me a strong candidate for family medicine. I won't recommend to make major switches. I need to share my experience about applying in my husband's program. He's an internal medicine physician. So even though I got interviews there, it was mostly a courtesy interview. They don't really like it that much when you switch from pediatrics to internal medicine, and it was like very clear and like very friendly discussion with the PD after the interview and everything, that it is not being regarded as something good. You are not showing that you are consistent with what you want to do. So you have to choose something that it incorporates what your previous experience. And in my opinion, this is my opinion based on my experience, and I have seen how people react even when I was in fellowship. When you are switching from internal medicine to peds or from peds to internal medicine, it's like, I don't know, it's like changing from doing pharmacy to being a teacher, maybe. So they don't see it well. So I would just say that if you want to switch specialty, make sure that you have something that you can use in your next choice.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Beltina, and congratulations again, and congratulations on the newborn. So
Thank you so much.
hopefully everything will turn out well now. So good luck.
Thank
As
you so
we
much,
move
Pawan.
on,
Best of
a
luck to
couple of
everyone.
announcements. First, if any question goes unanswered, don't worry. We'll make a separate video. I know my panelists are very busy, so they may not be getting to different questions. We are capturing each and every question, and we will answer them in a separate webinar or recording. So that's one. Second, to all my panelists, you can leave, don't have to stay for the entire time, but feel free to stay back if you do. Third, I do have a slight change in schedule on calendar. It was Sayeri, but I think Helena needs to go early. So Sayeri, if you can wait to be the next speaker, I think Helena has to go. So I appreciate that. Helena, welcome, and yeah, share your story, and we are all waiting for your tips.
Pawan, thank you so much for this invitation. So my name is Helena Barbosa. I'm a very, very old graduated. I graduated in 2006, 18 years ago in Portugal. My home country residency is family medicine. I'm a repeated applicant. This is my third cycle. I applied in 2021. I did not match. I applied in 2022. I did not match. And I applied this year. I matched internal medicine. Joining the Sarthi team was life-changing for me. To match this year, I had no secret. I just followed the Sarthi team advices, from improving and completing my ERAS profile, my personal statement, updating my rotations, including a tele-rotation and my letters of recommendation. I also joined a research class. We work in two research projects, and we present 2 posters in an international conference. I also complete my step 3. And to be successful this time, it was essential the Sarthi interview preparation classes. And my home country residency is family medicine. And during all the interview I had 3 interviews, 2 for internal medicine and 1 for emergency medicine. In all my interviews, I had to explain why I decided to transit from family medicine to internal medicine. In the same interview, I had to explain more than once why I had to show my commitment to internal medicine more than once. And the interview preparation classes from Sarthi were vital, essential, and more than enough to be ready to address that difficult question. I advise you all to be hopeful always, to talk with people who inspire you, and to be open, to follow advices, to ask for help.
Well, thank you very much, Helena. Much appreciate, and this is very impressive. Not only the year of graduation, which is 18 years, but also switching from FM to IM, FM being your home country residency. So I think your hard work, dedication has paid off, and good luck in your journey.
Thank you so much. It was also essential to let you know that beyond any advice, I had a mentor, a Sarthi mentor, who used to talk to me frequently. And beyond her advices, her personal and professional journey was inspired to me. And she kept me always hopeful despite the two previous fail.
Yep. Thank you. So for others who, if you are interested, like I said, take a look at our match plans, and also we are offering profile reviews. I am getting messages on applicants wanting to talk to us. So there is a profile review that we can do for you to tell you specifically what you need to improve on. So Aarti is just posting that link. Thank you. If you don't find time, send an email, because that page also has an email that you can send. But thank you, Helena. I appreciate your time as always. Again, if we are not able to answer your questions, don't worry. We will take it up in a separate video. This is going to be a long conference, and we will get all specialties. So I know there are a couple of questions on general surgery as well. So moving on, Sayeri, thank you for your patience. But if you can now come on camera and share your perspectives, your challenges, I think that'll be very helpful.
Hello, thank you, Pawan.
Welcome, Sayeri.
So yes, I matched this year, and I'm really happy because I'm also an old graduate. I graduated in 2011, and after that, I worked in India for a few years, and also I did residency in pharmacology. Well, pharmacology is not clinical, but it also helps if you have a residency in your home country and if you have an old year of graduation. And yes, after coming to US in 2018, I started working as a research assistant and medical assistant, which also really helped me because you get to know the US healthcare system. And also you get to work with physicians. They get you good letters also. And then you get to assist in lots of clinic procedures, which are very important, and that will really help you. I joined Sarthi last year, and it really helped me because I got to know, first of all, I got to make lots of friends from Sarthi. And then I had a excellent mentor who helped me a lot. She, Bharti Nikhare. She went through same situations with old graduations, and she also worked in US for some time. And she also did a residency in anatomy. So she had pretty much kind of similar situations before matching. And so she helped me a lot, I would say. And she, with my personal statement also, and with my CV, how to write it, how to, for example, when I was writing my about my pharmacology resident in India. So she mentioned that don't just write about your research and all those things in pharmacology. Write that they should know that you know pharmacology. Many people are scared of pharmacology. You know the medicine part of the family medicine. So you have to show what you know. So I would suggest being a, so when you are writing your application and also during your interview, you have to mention what you are good at. So nobody will know. You have to tell them what you know. So if you are working or you are doing rotations, the first thing is you should know how to tell them what you learned, what you assisted in procedures and what you learned and everything. So and how it will help in the residency. So you have to mention all this. And there are some interview preparations in Sarthi, so you can go through the Sarthi videos. Those are really helpful. There are lots of questions. And I would say you can also Google a lot of questions. There are around 20 questions, maybe maximum, I read before interview. And those are like common, and you can use those explanation anywhere. You don't have to mug up questions. You should know your story, and you should be able to tell that nicely. So to able to tell that nicely and not to think there during the interview a lot, so you should practice. I would, and also I would say that there are lots of questions and answers that you can from Sarthi videos you can get. And also if you don't find any answer, you can just Google. And also use Grammarly or ChatGPT if you want, but don't use it for drafting your CV or personal system like that. Just use it to make it better. Just for grammars and other things. So those things also helped me a lot with my application, I would say. Yes, and I did one rotation with Sarthi that was on Beaumont. I got 2 letters of recommendations. That also helped me. And yes, I would say the main thing is work hard. They see that you're working hard, and that's what matters. I had also low score, and I did not give step 3. So that's why I got a less number of interviews. So I think giving step 3 is also important to have more number of interviews and getting matched. So yes, these will be my advice, but feel free to ask me any question.
Thank you, Sayeri. So just so that everyone is clear, to summarize, don't use ChatGPT and Grammarly to frame your personal statement. And in fact, I was this Monday, I was at a med school talking to the dean, and they are starting to see a lot of ChatGPT responses. So I think that's something you've highlighted. The other thing is a lot of students tend to memorize the answers. It, like you said, it has to be your own story. Questions are same for everyone. It is the answers that you have to work on, which have to be integrated with your story, correct? There is no templated answer.
That's right. Just be don't be scared of the interview. I know that that part, everybody gets some adrenaline rush and we are scared of the final day, but just be yourself. It's like a conversation. They just want to know you. So you got an interview, that means they already like you. So just be confident, and it's talk like how you're talking to someone that you want to share your story with. And also, I would say, like, you should advertise your strength whenever possible. Sometimes you won't be asked about your strength that you're prepared for and what you can do and who you are, but there will be always some rooms that you can just put in your strength that you want to tell them. Uh, yeah, just be confident, and yes, just take it like a conversation, and yeah, you will do good.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, Sayeri. Appreciate your time and congratulations again. Good luck in your next phase of the journey.
Thank you so much, Vavan. Thank you. Good
Thank
luck,
you.
everyone.
Thanks. And again, a reminder to our audience, we will capture all the questions. They will be answered, even if they are not being answered today, we will. But a reminder to put questions to everyone. If you are putting questions only to hosts and panelists in the chat, that doesn't benefit everyone. So put a question for everyone. We will try to answer. If we cannot get to it, we'll answer it in a subsequent video tomorrow or later on. Okay. Now let us move on. And the next person, Vijay Prabhu from our panel is there. So Vijay, let me give you the permissions. You should be able to share your video, and then then we'll take it from there.
I began my journey with USMLE Sarthi last year. That is 2023 match. I had applied under the guidance of USMLE Sarthi. But unfortunately, I didn't match that season. And Sarthi is very unique in that they have this, till the time you match, they continue to guide you and mentor you. You have access to their Telegram groups, and you can ask any doubts that you have, the Telegram groups, and any general discussion, anything you can have in those Telegram groups. So I found that aspect really helpful during this season. And 2023 being my initial season, I really didn't have that much of an idea about the entire process. But at the end of the 2023 match season, I got to learn so much about it. I had 3 interviews, and unfortunately, I didn't end up matching. And my year of graduation was more than 9 years. And after that, I had finished a home country residency in internal medicine. And during this year, what I found the most helpful was, after going unmatched last time, I took the Sarthi profile review, and they gave me some really valuable suggestions on how to leverage the home country experience for this season, and make a very, very successful application for this season. So based on the profile review, I like in the ERA CV and the personal statement, I just brought out all the strengths of my application from all my previous experiences, and with special focus on the home country residency experience and everything. And also the personal statement also, I made it in such a way that the home country residency gets the maximum attention in that. And they also told me that my PS and CV has to come across in such a way that I'm very teachable. So I made sure that I conveyed that I'm always having this attitude to learn and grow, and I'm willing to learn from everyone, both in the ERA CV and also in the personal statement. So I believe this story really helped me. And during the interview also, I actually emphasized this story. And even though I'm experienced, the experience will really help me to learn more in the particular program, and excel in that particular program. I made this the theme of all the interviews that I had. And fortunately, I was able to match this season in a very good program. And yeah, this feedback that Sarthi gave about the CV and the PS, and about leveraging the experiences to your advantage, really helped me this season. And yeah, the other thing that I would say is, during the interviews, it is important to be normal, and not nervous, and keep the story coherent. Whatever is reflected in your CV and PS, the answers that you tend to give in the interview should not go in a different direction. Maybe the theme has to be the same. And and the main thing is to not be nervous and fidgety, and convey your story, and how you really want it. Basically sell yourself, sell to the program how good you are. And that's what really helped me, and Sarthi really helped me to put across that during this season. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vijay, and thank you for taking time out, even if you're traveling. So much appreciate your tips to the to the students, and definitely leveraging your home country residency is important. But it is commendable that you had more than 9 years of YOG, and you didn't give up. So I think that's very impressive. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so before I move on, on the Telegram group, so we do have separate Telegrams group. There is a Telegram group for our students only. That is only for Sarthi students, and that's where it is run by our panelists, and we share tips and tricks on a daily basis. You cannot access it without being part of our membership. But we do run open Telegram groups. I think that's what Aarti has just posted. So Aarti, if you can post that link again. Open Telegram group, you can join anytime. It is open to everyone. And, we give high level advice in the open group, but very personalized advice is only in our closed group, which is for Sarthi students only. Okay. And again, this conference will continue tomorrow as well. We have I think about 40 plus students who have matched. So you'll hear from different students and different perspectives, different specialties. All right. I am taking a look at all the questions, by the way. Okay, so then I don't think Mariam has been able to join yet, or Sonia. So let's go to Sai Priyanka. Let me give you do have access. So welcome again and congratulations, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share my story. Hello all. My name is Priyanka. I would say I'm not older graduate, but I'm on the borderline. I'm a 5 years old graduate. I think my biggest challenges were I had more than 15-point drop from my step 1 score to step 2 score. My step 2 score was in lower 220s, and I'm a 5-year-old graduate. So this is my second cycle. When I applied in the last cycle, I didn't have my step 3 as well, and I ended up getting just one interview, and unfortunately I didn't match. I realized my mistakes when I assessed. I realized what mistakes I made, and today I'm going to talk about a few points, how I improved and how I rectified my mistakes. Before that, I'm going to say that Sarthi played a very key role for me to achieve residency today, and Telegram group is one of the most valuable resources I had this cycle. The first thing I did was step 3. I can't tell enough how important step 3 is, especially for an older graduate. There's a tremendous change in the number of interviews you get once you have step 3 on the profile. And then the second thing I improved on my profile was getting inpatient experiences. In my first cycle, I had only applied with just outpatient experiences and only one inpatient. And the second cycle, and the second time when I'm preparing for the application, I did all inpatient rotations, and I did from good prestigious universities. You'll be amazed to see how many professors are willing to offer observerships to the candidates. And my sincere suggestion is go prepared to the rotations, be proactive, ask questions, make an impression. The most important things you'll get from the rotations are personalized LORs. Out of my 7 interviews, at least 4 interviewers talked about my LORs. They said they were very personalized and they liked my LORs. That is one thing that significantly improved my profile this year. And the second thing that improved is the research. Like wherever I go to rotations, I try to make contacts with my co-observers, and then we submitted abstracts for chess conference, AHA conference. I was very privileged to present at the AHA conference as well. That also many program directors asked about that, how was my experience and all. That made a significant impact. And last but not the least, I wanted to tell the single most important thing is program outreach. It's very important that I started my program outreach 2 months before the application deadline, which is from July. And if time allows, please do send personalized email at least the first time. And then I'd say I got more than 2 interviews from the program outreach. The program directors replied to my email, and then they said that they will give me an interview, which they ended up giving. So I think these are all the things which significantly impacted my profile the second time. To summarize it, I would say, give your step 3, be proactive in getting inpatient rotations, send like emails, and try to get some research on the profile and do program outreach. Before the application, I did every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and after the application, I did every 15 days. So it was very helpful for me to get the number of interviews I did. And I strongly believe that all these factors made me to get into the residency this year. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyanka. Question coming in, where did you actually match in terms of specialty? I think you didn't mention that.
Yeah, I matched in internal medicine.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, your tips on program outreach and research are, I think, absolutely on the spot, and especially also step 3 for older graduate. I think that is invaluable. So thank you very much. And again, congratulations. Good luck in the upcoming journey.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's move on. And again, I'm getting these questions. So yes, we will have different panelists tomorrow. As you can see, the idea is to share tips, experiences with you. And that's where we have tried to arrange our students to help you out. So now let's see who is the other one on my agenda. So Sonia has joined. So Sonia, let me give you access to your video. So Sonia, welcome. You should be able to share your screen, and the students are all waiting for your experiences, tips. So introduce yourself, your journey a bit, where you matched, and then any tips that you have that you learned as part of your overcoming the challenges.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, Pawan sir, and the entire Sarthi team. I matched, and this wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for you. The guidance I received from the Sarthi team was amazing. So about me, I'm an older graduate. I graduated in 2014. And after that, I have home country residency in obstetrics and gynecology. And I applied to internal medicine and family medicine, and I matched in internal medicine. So yeah, I do have a few tips that I would like to give. For any applicant like me who is an older graduate, who has home country residency and is switching specialties, it is really important for us to have an application that is so convincing that the programs would even consider us. So it is really important to get that kind of guidance. And I think Sarthi team is amazing with respect to that. Like every panelist says, step 3 is really important as someone who is an older graduate changing specialties. So make sure you have step 3 score with you before the application deadline. The other thing, of course, US clinical experience. You have to have amazing letters of recommendations, and it's better if you do a variety of rotations, inpatient, outpatient, clinic, and all that, and maybe various subspecialties of internal medicine if you're applying to internal medicine. I think that really helps. One thing that I experienced personally was, like when we are going through the programs, the list of the programs, we also use a filter. If the program website says, the applicant must have graduated within the last 2 years or 3 years, we try to avoid applying to such programs. But I applied very broadly, and I applied to those programs as well. And to my surprise, I received 3 interviews from such programs whose their requirements were must have graduated within the last 3 years. So my suggestion would be to apply very broadly. And of course, prepare well for the interviews, because you will be asked why internal medicine, why family medicine, and why internal medicine now. So be prepared. Sarthi offers mock interviews. I think that's very, very helpful. So yeah, go for that.
So, Sonia, since you're an older graduate, but with a home country residency in OBGYN, how easy was it to switch to IM? Right? A lot of people do make a switch to FM because of women's health, preventive care. But when it came to IM, how difficult was it?
It was a bit difficult, but you have to make sure that the application does not scream, or it's not all about your home country residency, but it screams and it's all about your interest in the specialty you're applying to. So I had various rotations in internal medicine, various subspecialties of internal medicine. I had 4 letters of recommendation, and I can tell they were really amazing. And I attached all the 4 letters of recommendation. I did everything I could, from, of course, guidance from you guys and my friends and my colleagues. And I think it's really important, again, to reach out to the programs as well. So you have to let them know that, yeah, you have these credentials and you are how passionate about internal medicine. You have to let them know. So program reach out and making sure that you do the right rotations, right research. It's really important.
And I think the other thing which everyone should be aware, the switch of specialty does not come overnight. It takes time, right? It's not like suddenly you decided IM and next day you matched in IM. It takes time, about a year. When you do 3 or 4 rotations, you probably do some research, you do outreach. So this switch of specialty is not sudden.
No, it's never sudden, because, there are so many recent graduates, so many fresh graduates, and with amazing scores, amazing credentials, and programs are looking out for them. So you have to stand out. And how you can stand out? It's by improving your profile, by reaching out to the programs, by letting them know that you are desperate. Just let them know you are desperate, I would say. I think that really helps.
Yes. Well, desperation in terms of getting in the US system and demonstrating that you are ready and committed. I think that is what the desperation means. It doesn't mean going the begging ball,
No, of course not. Because I think it is really important for us to show them that we are eager to learn. It's not in our head that we are an OB in India, and we won't get along with our colleagues, and, our colleagues must maybe, way younger than us. So they should get this vibe from us that we are all set to be a student again.
Yep. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Sonia. Appreciate, and congratulations again, and I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Pawan sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we are getting a lot of questions on outreach. We have extensive classes on program outreach, step by step, when to do, how to do, what documents to add, etc. So, take a look at our plans. Now would be the right time if you are actually going into the 2025 match. All that is included as part of our plan, right? So outreach is important. It is included in our plans. We do give a lot of tips on our Telegram as well as in the classes. So Aarti, if you can, post a link for our plans. So with that, and moving on, Aditya is our next speaker. So Aditya, actually the transition is very timely, because I did mention, there is a slight difference between showing your commitment and coming out desperation wise with a begging bowl. And Aditya is the poster child. He's been very, very vocal about you have earned this right. So Aditya, your previous video was quite viral, very, very appreciated. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what challenges you faced and how you overcame those challenges.
Thank you so much, sir, for being so appreciative and encouraging. And I will try to build on the previous video. So my name is Aditya Chanpura, and I am currently enrolled in a master's in public health at SUNY Downstate. And I've been here since last 2 years now in the US. And that is, I got into SUNY Downstate for neurology. I had 5 interviews. This was my second rank university which I got into. And I'm really happy about it. I will be in New York for the next 4 years. So it is a positive. And so now I really want you guys to remind you that you guys are the cream in your respective countries. And you have been the top in your high school, and that is why you are in medicine. And even and you also got through your medical school, so you guys are already there now. So you have the right ingredients. Now it's just time to know, and using those at the right time will give you the results. And I'm really sure if you are on the path, then you are going to eventually, all of you are going to match. So I'm really confident in you guys. And so the first thing that I really want to tell you guys is that the life in US is really hard. It is not easy. And if you are thinking of jumping into it, that I want to go to US and start doing my things, then it's very difficult. So try to finish things in India or in your respective countries, wherever you are, because we are very privileged back home. We have the opportunity to complete our steps. And when we come back home, we have at least food on our plate. Here, it's going to be difficult. Laundry and everything, transportation is a big hassle. So don't take it lightly. I underestimated how difficult the life would be in US. So this is one thing that you have to keep in mind. And also, once you come here, you will focus more on your rotations and it will be very fruitful. And back in India or in your respective country, if you start doing a job in clinical work, then it is very helpful when you are here, because the rotations, you can see the difference in the candidates that here. So in India, there is very big volume. I don't know about other countries. So the professors also over there train us into a way where we kind of remember the blood reports or things in the MRI or wherever we go. So that is really crucial when it comes into the rotation. So when you are in a rotation, everyone will have a paper in their hand. They will be reading through the paper. They will be presenting the case. Everyone can do that. But how you can shine or outshine would be you remember those things. When the attending asks that, you have it on the tip of your tongue and you just say it because you will be knowing it. And you just have to present one case. So that is really crucial, having that experience back home. And if I know you feel stuck when you are preparing for your steps. So I would suggest get a job and get that experience, the real life experience out there in the hospitals. That would be really nice. And I am a repeat applicant. So my first attempt, I could only get private clinics, LORs. And I got 3 interviews last time. I didn't match. And all of you guys who didn't match, I got 5 interviews this time. And every university was better than the previous 3. And I had better opportunity. And so if a small door is closed this year, then a bigger door is waiting for you to open. And this is completely from my experience. Even though I was at SUNY, they did not give me an interview last year. This year, they took me in. So it's a big plus for me. And I was really underconfident. So that was the other thing that I really want you guys to focus on. It is very tough. And I think that even though you have experience back home, here you can start by acclimatizing yourself into the surroundings by interacting constantly with the residents, then with the attendings, and you will find your way. You will go through it. The PD, the chair, no, and here the culture is really open. They actually like when you speak to them. They like having a conversation with you. Even if you take a stand on the opposite side, they are going to appreciate that. So don't be afraid. Don't be a yes man always. Always try to have a position. And these people like people who advocate for themselves. So you have to keep that in mind. And the PDs here like that when you are an independent decision maker, and they also appreciate that even though in spite of having that, you have to be capable of working in a team. So these two things are really crucial, that you have to be independent enough, but you have to be capable to work in a team as well. So these are the two things that you would have to do. To answer the question of Dr. Patel, I am in neurology. And so these are the few things that you can keep in mind. And if you are looking to get more exposure like I did a master's in public health, you could enroll yourself in a course if you are financially good enough, and things are going to come to you eventually. And money is something which is going to flow. Over here, it flows away, but it's going to come back. Now I'm really positive about it. And everything will fall into place, as I always say. And you guys are all really, really the cream of your own countries. And please believe in yourselves. Even though you didn't match, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets the position that they want. And stick to your position. If you want neurology or whatever field, I've seen people who get into cardiac surgery, and they are, they work 2-3 years in research. They only take just one interview. They don't even apply in other hospitals. That's how, confident they are. So those are the things that we have to look for, and people find their way, and everyone can find their way. And one of the things is you cannot compare yourself with others. Always focus on yourself, because everyone has a different journey. So keep doing it. And if you guys need us, Sarthi is always there for you, and we would be happy to answer your questions.
So Aditya, as usual, very, very inspiring. You are the role model. I do have a couple of questions. I like the observation, money flows out and flows in this country, right? So it is an expensive journey, to be sure, but you can make up for that. So that's one. Now, the question I have is, generally MPH is related to family medicine and some of those, public health kind of specialties. How did you make it work for neurology? How did you get the neuro-specific, maybe projects, maybe experiences when you were doing your MPH?
So one of the basic advantages of having an MPH is you have the access to the whole hospital. And all the epidemiologists and biostatisticians, they are working with all the departments in the hospital. So if you have MPH, I did not know how to use it during my first year, but the second year was when I knew where I can find things. So I specifically aimed at my internships towards neurology. And then I found residents, then I found the attendings who were in those projects. I used to attend those meetings with them, and then I got to know them. Then I requested them that, can I please come on the rotation? And they would be like, yeah, why not? And then once you get that chance, then you have to make sure that you, get everything out of it. So you have to, build up on your opportunity. If there's a door is not opening, if one attending says no, you can go to another attending. There is always people who are willing to help you out, and it's not a big ask. I was very shy in asking even for those opportunities. I was not doing anything wrong by just asking them. And if you build that connection with them, they are such helpful people that you wouldn't even believe that things like these could happen. So you just have to take that chance and the leap of faith. And I think that is how I use my MPH. And then once I got into research, and then they started calling me for rotations, and then I asked for letters eventually, and then things happen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your inspirational journey. Appreciate Aditya. So thank you.
But thank you so much, Dr. Khera, for the opportunity. I
Thank
would love to do it again.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Pugazhendi has been waiting for quite a while. So, Pugazhendi, if you are still there, and I think you can share your screen now, your video stream. But welcome and thank you for answering all the questions on the chat. The floor is yours. Please share your
My pleasure, Pawan. Thank you, and all the best, and congratulations to all the other panelists who got matched as well. So I'm actually a early 2022 graduate. I come from Chennai in India. I started my USMLE journey quite late. I registered for my step 1 exam in 2022 August, I believe. So I had to rush through everything in a year. And finally, I got matched. I got matched into New York Medical College, St. Clair's and St. Mary's program in internal medicine. So that is a little bit about myself. Everyone's journey is unique in this USMLE journey. For me, I was the first ever graduate applying to USMLE from my medical school. So I never had any seniors who have already gone through the process, and I'm the first generation doctor in my family. So there's no previous experience, in terms of contact specifically. So that's how I was actually searching for a support system, and that's where Sarthi actually came in handy to me. And I cannot actually thank Sarthi enough, because the place where I got matched into, I did a rotation there through Sarthi in St. Mary's Hospital. So I got an LOR, I got contacts, I persisted and worked on the rotation related aspects until the match day, and I got matched there as well. So I think that's where Sarthi came into place in my journey. And for a lot of factors, I think Sarthi was very important. Starting from research, rotations, obtaining LORs, and clearing all the questions you have in my mind. I cannot actually thank enough for the Telegram group, because there are a lot of panelists who are all experienced in different ways, and who all came through a lot of unique challenges. So if you are in a similar position, you'll get good help at the timely manner. So to all the future applicants, if you want a support system, definitely go for Sarthi. And one thing that I can definitely tell from my experience in this USMLE journey is opportunities are very important. Wherever you go in this USMLE journey, remember this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So you'll have to eventually prepare yourself for until the match day. The work never ends. It's not that you score high and you get into a residency. No, it's not like that. People with 15 interviews go unmatched. People with 1 interview get into residency. So this is a very unique journey. So remember, persistence is very important. And maybe one thing that I can definitely talk about is US clinical experience. US clinical experience is not just for obtaining letters of recommendation. Remember, if there's anyone who's here just starting to prepare for your USMLE journey, US clinical experience is not just for LOR. It goes much beyond than that, because obviously you're going to be working with an attending. So it's not just about impressing the attending, but it's about showing him what you have. It's not just that you go there and do something, and at the end of the month you get an LOR and apply. But if you are doing a rotation in a place, then you have to create an impact out of it. For instance, I went to St. Mary's Hospital. There, when I was working with the attending, the rotation used to last for a short time, because the attending was quite busy. He used to go to multiple places. So he used to just work for 1 hour with us. But then I used to stay, even after the rotation, I used to work sometime with the residents. I used to help them in a lot of different ways. And that's how you build connections. And these connections can go a long way. They can vouch for you during the interview season, even after the interviews, during the rank order list time and all that. So remember, if you are doing a US clinical experience, prepare yourself very well, utilize whatever opportunities you have there, be updated about the cases you are going to see, just read about them, go to the rotation early, let's say half an hour before, and then understand about each and everything. And that's how you can make a very good impact out of US clinical experience. And the other thing maybe I can talk about is research. Like, I have quite a few publications, I have over 20 PubMed Index publications, and research can help you in a lot of different ways. Remember, if there are 100 applicants for a program, at least 80 of them will have scores similar to you. So ultimately, there has to be something that differentiates you from others. And I think that's where research comes into place. And if you have, let's say, 1 or 2 year gap in your CV, again, that's where research can make a huge difference. And a lot of time, let's say all these program directors, they're interviewing at least 20-30 candidates per day, so they can get bored of asking general questions like, tell me about yourself and all that. So they love to talk about research if you have it on their CV. So research can become a deal breaker in all those situations. So if there is an opportunity for research, do approach Sarthi as well. They have some important research mentors who can help you in different ways. You can get publications which are like very impactful. I had 3 publications from Sarthi, and I had about 6 interviews, and I got a lot to talk about all those research projects in there. So research can be very, very important. So yeah, in general, USMLE journey is like very difficult in terms of persistence. It can test your patience, but just hang in there, keep doing your good work. Ultimately, things will fall in place. And as I already mentioned, have a support system. I had Sarthi, so that every now and then people will say, okay, this is time to do outreach emails. This is time to start preparing on your personal statements. This is time to start preparing on your interviews. So a lot of people are there who'll tell you what to do at what time and how to do. So that's important. You have that support system where people are already gone through this difficult part. So develop such a support system, and Sarthi is an excellent support system, to be honest. Particularly interview preparations, like they started it quite early. I believe short interview session I used to have with Pawan, I was performing in a very immature way initially, but then I just got used to them again and again. And some of the mock interviews I had with these panelists were amazing. You get good feedbacks, and everything else is history. And finally, I got into this match. So all your future applicants, hang in there, prepare well, follow whatever the seniors, mentors, support system tell. You will also match eventually, and we're all here for your support.
Well, thank you very much, Pugazhendi. This was very, very inspirational. Hopefully, the future applicants will take some tips out of your presentation. But thank you.
Yeah,
thank you
sure, Pawan. Thank you.
Before we move on, a couple of things. So yes, as he mentioned, we do have rotations like at St. Mary's and other places where you can actually eventually match. Of course, all is performance driven. So Aarti can send you those links. So rotations with the program directors and rotations which can be very, very impactful. So Aarti, maybe something you can do, the PD rotations. The other thing, as he mentioned on research, so we do work with Hackensack, Director of Clinical Research. You can look at that research offering. I see questions on, how can Sarthi help you in research? So we start a research cohort every month. So something you can look at. We do it on a monthly basis. It's all remote, and these are published in quite impactful journals, manuscript, abstracts, etc. So take a look at that. And as we move on, so our next speaker, I think, is Sushmita Devi. So let me give you access. I think you already have access. So welcome, Sushmita, and congratulations on your match. And yeah, please, they are all waiting to hear your story.
Hi, Pawan. Firstly, thank you very much for you and your entire team. It's been like a backbone for me. So before starting into my journey, I would just like to say how Sarthi helped me. So I took the interview prep plus the person statement and the support course for the CV. So it just helped me a lot to understand what to prepare at what time. So when to start doing the person statement, when to do what are the things that have to be corrected, and also you being able to meet us whenever we require you was very huge support, and we understood what are the mistakes that can be done and corrected it before applying it. Because I applied last year for soap. I did not apply for the main match last year, but I did apply for the soap. And when I was applying for the soap, I did not take any help. I could see a very huge change without taking a help versus taking a help, because you never know what mistakes you make unless you show it to someone else. You make the corrections. So it's important to know who you are showing it to, like whose validation you're taking. That has to be from a knowledgeable people. So thanks to Sadhi for helping me through and correcting my mistakes before sending my application to the main residency programs. So about me, back in India, I did 2.5 years of OBGYN PG, so which was a very huge question, and I eventually matched an internal medicine categorical program at St. Francis. So the basic topic that I would like to talk is the change in the specialty, and I would like to say that if you show consistent passion on the specialty that you're aiming for, irrespective of you having a home residency program in a different specialty, if you are able to convince that it was your passion first and then it's your passion now and you have worked through it, and you can if you can show it through the CV experiences as well, they believe it. It's important to know how to direct your CV, work on your CV on the program or on the branch that you're working for. So though I had a OBGYN, I applied for categorical. So I immediately started working on my rotations for categorical, and then I could eventually prove that my primary interest was categorical. So I'm just talking on behalf of the students who are applying for a different residency program, though they have a different home country residency program. So the other thing that I would like to talk about is the interview prep. So I didn't know how vital the interview prep was. I thought if you apply properly, if you had good personal statement, if you had good set of interviews, that would help you. And if you're genuine during the interview, that would help you. That's not the case. So you need to know how to answer the questions. You need to know what are the common questions that are asked. You need to be well prepared for it. Though the interview should be like a conversation, you need to know what has to be shown, how to showcase yourself, how to showcase your skills. So I learned that from Sarthi, Pawan, the classes from Dr. Catherine or from Dr. Khan. It was very helpful for me. So these are the things that I just wanted to speak about.
Thank you, Sushmita. Now, questions on changing specialty OBGYN to IM. What all did you do to convince the programs that yes, it is not OBGYN but IM? Obviously, the answer cannot be that OBGYN is hard to match into in US, right? So, how did you?
So my story was my primary interest was internal medicine. I applied for internal medicine rotations in 2019. That was my graduation time. I completed my step 1 in 2019, and then I applied for certain rotations, but I couldn't get a visa, and so I had to step back and do the residency in India. So I explained that, and during the residency in India, I explained that I was exposed to a lot of medically complicated pregnant cases and all of that. And it just eventually increased my interest, and I then again worked towards IM residency. So since even during the OBGYN rotations, I applied for the IM rotations. I got into IM rotations in US. I did research in respect to IM. So my entire CV was revolving around internal medicine, though just the residency experience was in OBGYN. So I could convince that my residency program is just adding more because I do have a lot of transferable skills. And eventually I could convince us what I can get out of it.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck in your residency journey. Appreciate your time, Susmita.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you did match in internal medicine for those of you who have this question. And what is the difference between IM and categorical IM? So IM has two paths. One is IM primary care and IM categorical. So the differences we can talk about maybe tomorrow or in the next video that we do. Moving on, I think the next speaker is Suvidha. So Suvidha, I'm going to make you the co-host. So if you can share your video stream, and then we can go if you're around. Yes, thank you, Suvidha. So you're on mute, so if you can unmute, and the floor is all yours. Congratulations. I can see you're very excited and happy. You've earned it.
Yep. I am. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity as well. And I'd like to thank the entire SADI team, Dr. Kera, you as well, for the support since the past 2 years. So a little bit about myself is that I am an IMG from India. I graduated in 2021 and I started my journey around 2020 as well. I did all of my steps continuously and finished my steps in June 2021. I had pretty decent scores, 240s, and a strong undergraduate academic background. So my initial journey with SADI actually began in 2022. I already had one unsuccessful math cycle before that, and I needed proper guidance on my journey for the second one. And right from the basic understanding of the process itself, SADI has been with me throughout the entire interview prep experience and even after as well. So you get to have really regular classes that are conducted by the SADI team. And we have classes from Dr. Tan, and she just explains about the entire process itself, like the intricacies of the match process, the timeline that you need to follow. And she also takes the time to explain about the US healthcare system, how residency works, and just get an entire idea of how the whole thing works. You have a better understanding of it even before you start the process itself. And then I also had support with my PS and CV preparation. But most importantly, what helped me the most is the interview prep classes that are conducted on a weekly basis. They start right from July, August, and they continue up until November, December. And then you get to interact with Dr. Kera, and then you understand how to frame your answers, come up with crisp but dense answers, but most importantly, how to express your experiences so that you come up as a well-rounded applicant during your interviews. And that has been a huge support. And most importantly, you also get to interact with the other match applicants. You get to listen to their answers, understand what should be done and what should not be said during an interview, which is extremely important because we all are new to this process and we all have unique experiences. So you need that guidance on how to express it in the right way. And most importantly, the Telegram group itself, you have so many students there, so many experienced panelists, and there are constant discussions going on different aspects of the process itself. You have people who are visa requiring, non-visa requiring, and you have different discussions going on visa process, on the match process itself. So it's a huge support, and you have so much dense information there, which is extremely useful for your journey as well. And especially the one thing that helped me the most in this season is a profile review session that I had with Dr. Tan, and as well as my discussions with Dr. Kera. She successfully pinpointed those particular areas that I needed to focus on and improve upon. And she also gave me a timeline. She followed up with me on a regular basis, made sure that I was doing what I was advised to do. And with the help of that, I was able to really secure double-digit interviews in this season and was able to successfully match. SADI is there with you through the entire process, right from when you start your journey up until you achieve what you wanted to achieve. And the other thing that I want to talk about is the US clinical experiences that Sarthi team offers. One of the experiences that I did was with Sarthi team was in Loretto Hospital in Chicago. And not only did I have a good inpatient and outpatient exposure with the attending, but I also got to participate in a volunteer experience that the hospital was then conducting. Being proactive is extremely important, and making sure that you express that interest and do everything that you can in your power to not only learn about the system, but also make sure that you leave a good impression with the attending itself is important. And the thing is, when I wrote about this experience on my CV, in almost all of my interviews, it was asked about. And I had an opportunity to talk about what I've learned through the rotation and how my experience was. So having strong USCE definitely made a difference for me in this process. And I also advise all of you guys to find good US clinical experiences that Sarthi already has on its website. The entire process was extremely smooth for me because I had to book this rotation in the last minute, but the payment, everything else, the entire process, the setup, everything was done smoothly in a span of 2 days, which is another stress for all of us, but it was well taken care by the Sarthi team. So the importance and the significant role that Sarthi has played in this journey, I cannot talk enough about it and thank enough for this incredible support system. So thank you so much, and I advise all of you to make use of these services and the support that the team offers. So thank you.
Well, Suvida, thank you for this very insightful presentation. Questions about
pleasure.
USCE. What did you learn and how did you kind of project the learnings in your interview and in your CV? So can you shed a bit of a light on the USCE aspect and how you marketed it?
Absolutely. That'd be a pleasure. So in the rotation that I previously talked about, it was every rotation that we go to has its own unique population, unique experiences that we get to have, and unique pathology. So what I did was, as I was filling out my application this season, I made sure that I highlighted all the ACGME competencies, with every experience. We do have different skills that we develop and different skills that we portray, but I focused on different skills with each and every experience, and I highlighted those experiences, making sure that I was portraying myself as a well-rounded applicant. And especially because I was involved in a volunteering activity during my rotation, it was also mentioned on my CV. And because that was the case, the interviewers realized how diverse my experience was. And most importantly, through those volunteering services, you understand in depth about the US healthcare system, the intricacies in the system, and also about certain things that are extremely important in current world, like health inequity or social determinants of health. And most of the programs that are slightly primary care based, but not only that, even interviewers who are primary care physicians take an interest in that and also ask you about what you have learned in that experience. And you can then talk about what you've learned, and that itself creates a rapport with the program director or associate program director and whoever that is. And that happened to me multiple times in most of my interviews, I would have to say. And they were pretty impressed with how diverse that experience was. So I would advise that making sure that you proactively involve yourself, not only on the clinical side of rotations, but also look out for opportunities, even research and volunteering opportunities. It just diversifies the experience that you have and will let the interviewers know that you are a proactive applicant and therefore a proactive resident in the future as well. So that is how I highlighted all of those experiences.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Suvida. Appreciate your time and congratulations once again. Finally you did match. So very, very happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I'm happy to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As we move on, so the last couple of speakers for today have already joined us. So we'll continue this conference tomorrow. But before I go to Calvin, our next speaker, if you need help in booking any of the rotations, so Aarti, probably you can send them link to the Loretto rotation, St. Mary's rotation, the program director rotation in Detroit as well. And the cardiology rotation in New York, some of our top rotations from where students have been able to match. So if you can send that, Aarti, that'll be very helpful. So cardiology in New York, program director in Detroit, program director in Hackensack, those rotations, Loreto rotations, what Suvida mentioned, St. Mary's, that kind of thing. Of course, I think they're also asking for Dr. Weissman's research link. So let's move on. Our next speaker is Calvin. Calvin, so welcome and congratulations, and the smile on your face says it all. You've done a very impressive, if I may say, journey from India to Canada to US. I don't even know what all have you done. So, or at least share it with your aspiring applicants that you have had international experience that you made at work for residency.
Yes. So thank you, Pawan sir, and it's so nice to see you again after the match. And hello, everybody. I am Calvin. I'm an IMG from India, and I applied for this current match cycle. I matched in internal medicine categorical position at University of Buffalo Catholic Health System. So I finished my high school in India, then I went to China for my medical education. Then I did a couple of rotations in US and Canada, and then I applied for the match season. And so Sarthi has been very instrumental in this entire journey, from helping me find rotations to helping me write PS, CV, and many other things, ultimately interview preparation, and then rank order lists. So you see, over the years, what I have found is that, life is just too short to make every mistake by yourself and then learn from them. So what Sarthi does is that, because they have had a lot of experience in the residency matching system, that they know what are the most common mistakes that people make, and then they teach you to avoid those mistakes. So one area that Sarthi, gives you a lecture on is program outreach, and that's what I'll be talking about today. So program outreach is one of, I would say, the most important part of your application preparation, and it's also one of the common areas where people tend to ignore them. So basically what program outreach is that, a few months before the application starts, even during the application season, the residency cycle, you reach out to programs showing your interest, and then you mention a few lines about your accomplishments, your scores, or whatever, and then you show your interest in that way. You see, there are many benefits if you do it right. So I would say that by doing program outreach right, I was actually able to get 3 to 4 more interviews. So you see, when you in program outreach, usually Sarthi asks us to do it a few months before the ERAS starts. So in that way, what happens is that you create some kind of impression in the minds of the program director. So they see your mail and they see your interest in their program, they see your accomplishments. So you create an initial impression. And then when you apply to their programs, they keep you in mind. And then you reach out to them throughout the cycle, and then hopefully you get interviews. And so what happens is that we usually tend to believe the world to be fair, right? But then the reality is that since there are so many applicants, what ends up happening is that since there are limited spots in the program and they invite limited number of people, what happens is that once they've fulfilled the criteria, like they've fulfilled all the interview positions, they stop reviewing your applications. So what program outreach does is that it puts you in their mind so that they review your application beforehand, before many other people. So in that way, you are able to stand out. And one thing that Pawan sir told us last year was that if you pay $27 and apply to a program, it is your right to request them to review your application. So then the thing is, if your application never reaches the program director, they never review it. So that's how you get your application reviewed. That's why you hear some people who have really stellar scores and they don't get interviews, because the programs have already filled most of their spots. And I would say another benefit of program outreach is that if you do it a few months before the cycle starts, you get an idea. Like some of them, they do reply to you. And that's where it helps you decide which programs you are going to signal. Because if a program says, okay, we will review your application and you signal them, it provides a stronger impression. And finally, that's also something, that may come up in your interviews. Like during my interviews, some program directors, they asked me about my strength. And I told them that I was a very persistent person. And few of them, they said that, yes, I do remember your emails because you kept on sending emails. But I really love your persistence and your tenacity. So that's another thing. And Sarthi has a whole class dedicated to program outreach and many other things that people may not teach you or they may not share with you. So again, well, I've had a lovely experience with Sarthi, and it has really saved me a lot of trouble looking for information myself. And yes, that is all about program outreach.
So, Calvin, thank you for that. Also, can you share a bit about international experience that you gained, right? Especially, I think, in Canada, and how did you leverage that in your application and interviews?
So I was lucky enough to have a tourist visa of Canada. Not many people have that. But if you do, I would say that, see, there's a popular belief that only US LORs are preferred. If you're applying for US residency and your home country residency, they are not as preferable. But what I've noticed is that it's a gamble that I took and it paid off because Canada and US has similar healthcare systems. So you can get a rotation in Canada and it will be just as valuable in the US as any other US LOR, because that was the feedback that I got from my interviewers. So that was one different path that I took, because back in 2022, when I started my journey, COVID was still a big thing. So then Canada was just opening and I did some rotations there. And then in 2023, I did some rotations in the US. So that is how I went. If you do have Canada, I would say if you're not getting a rotation in the US, you can try that out. Otherwise, yeah. So that really helps, because in Canada, I would say in Canada, it's easier to find rotations, but then it's almost impossible to match into the residency. In US, it's tougher to find rotations, but it's easier to match into the residency. So it's like, very opposite things. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Calvin. And just to be clear, first try to get a rotation in the US, right? So, and then if you don't get it, probably Canada would be a good option.
Yes.
So don't just think that you don't have to do USCE, just go to Canada. First try in the US. If not, then Canada could be an alternative.
Yes, it's like the second best, but the best is always US, and then, yeah, then Canada.
Okay. Thank you, Calvin. Appreciate always your willingness to help other students. Cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I think the last speaker, but not the least of the day, Akash Gupta, who matched in emergency medicine, one of the upcoming fields for IMGs. I know many of you have questions on that. So Akash, welcome. Congratulations. You've been some kind of a path bearer. So I think people are very keen on knowing your story, and then the basic question: what does it take to match in emergency medicine? How do I match in emergency medicine? What are the challenges? What do programs look for? I think if you can explain all of that, they'll really appreciate it.
Sure, I will. First of all, thank you so much for having me over here. So hello everyone, I'm Akash Gupta. I matched in Trinity Health Livonia in emergency medicine department, and in total number of interviews which I got in emergency medicine was 11. And so the most important thing which they look for in emergency medicine applicant is the SLOE, SLOE, which is Standard Letter of Evaluation. So that is the most important thing for matching into emergency medicine. Even if you have average scores or low scores and you have a really good SLOE, that will be then you will be an amazing applicant. So the thing is, there are different types of SLOE. The best one is the SLOE. E, standard letter of evaluation. That SLOE is basically where the residency is available. So if you get that externship over there where residency program, like emergency medicine residency program is there, that will be the best ones. Apart from SLOE, if you can't get it, it's very difficult to get it. I never had a SLOE, but I had two SLOEs. So what is the other SLOE? It is it's a standard letter of evaluation, but it is where there is no emergency medicine residency. So that is just plain SLOE. So try to get two of those. So I got it from one of them at the Lorato Hospital. I approached Sarthi for the rotation in emergency medicine, and other one I got it from urgent care, but he was an emergency medicine physician as well. So I got a two SLOE. If you have two SLOE, it will for sure what I can say, improve your application a lot. And most of the programs are, I can say, more than 99% of almost 99% of the programs will look for at least one SLOE in your application. If you don't have it, most likely you won't get any interviews. So apart from SLOE, I believe your communication skills, of course, your interviewing skills are also very important. And scores, yeah, if you have 250s, 260s, that will obviously give you an advantage to match into a really good program. And if you are focusing on maybe university program, which is very difficult, I know one of the non-US IMG who matched in a university program in EMED. So she had a lot of research papers as well. So it's possible. So this year the rate was just, I guess, 4%, around 125 or 130 something, as far as I remember. 123 non-US IMGs just matched into in emergency medicine. So it's difficult, but I truly believe it's possible.
So Akash, questions on SLOE. Of course, you don't need it for IM, etc. Some people are asking. So what is the score range? You don't have to say your scores, but what would be a score range where a visa-seeking IMG can be reasonably confident of getting some interviews in emergency medicine?
So if you want to match, then I would suggest that above average should be good enough, like about 240s, 250s should be good enough. But I know people who have got interviews in 220s and 230s range as well. One of my friend have matched with that scores. So it's still possible, but he had a SLOE as well, two SLOEs as well. So more than scores, that's what I said, SLOE is more important.
Okay. And does the home country experience also matter? So some people have experiences in emergency medicine in home country. Does that matter at all, or is it only the US clinical experience with SLOEs?
I believe US clinical experience matters the most because they need the SLOE from the US hospitals. Specifically, if you have the SLOE, that will be the best ones.
Okay. And in terms of the interviews, what kind of questions and what do they look for as they are interviewing you?
Sure. So most of the common question is the same. Why EMED? Why this program? Tell me about yourself, and all this is common. So what they generally see is whether you are truly passionate about emergency medicine. So now what has happened, if you have seen the trends, the number of applications suddenly reduced, but this year it rebounded back to more than 30%. It rebounded. So we had a lot of especially the DOs got increased, and IMGs, I think so around 600 people, non-US IMGs applied for the EMED application. So I believe that sorry, I missed the last part of your question, which I had to
No, I said, are there any specific questions in EMED that programs like to ask?
Most of them are the basic ones. Other than that would be what is your favorite procedure? Tell me about your any EMED experience which you had in the US or in your home country. Then about hobbies, they ask a lot. So I connected my hobby related to emergency medicine. So they asked that a lot. So that was like almost in every interview they used to ask me that question, and they liked my answer related to that. It's a thing that emergency medicine are the people who have a sort of ADHD kind of. They like cycling, mountain biking, and all those adventurous things. But I related it to chess, which I play, and they really liked my answer about that. So they check the passion about emergency medicine because now most of the people are just applying for backup specialty since they saw the trend, but even they are smart enough to catch the people who are actually applying for a backup or who are genuinely interested in EMED. So I would suggest that just make sure that you are thorough with all the common questions and why EMID specifically and why this program. This is like every program is going to ask that question.
So the last question, which I think you just touched on, and is very important because we get a lot of requests, last minute in soap. Oh my God, can I apply to EMED? I see so many spots, etc. And just as a backup and all. So what do you recommend to someone who's really passionate about emergency medicine? How do they start now if they have to apply for the 2025 match?
Sure. So couple of things. So first thing, look for very strong externship or hands-on experience. That is the number one thing, and get SLOE. It's at least 2 SLOE. That is very important. So try to do program outreach, as Kelvin already mentioned. That try to email the programs. So 99% programs won't even give you any offers related to that. So you have to speak to Sarthi team. So they have one rotation at Loreto Hospital related to emergency medicine. I would recommend that to do that rotation and get a SLOE. And apart from SLOE, I believe just make good connection with as many people as possible. Go in LinkedIn, just randomly message them that I'm interested in so and so. And I sent a lot of emails in the month of June, July, almost to every program that I'm interested in a program. I'm looking for externship or observership opportunity at your program. So a couple of them wrote my name and said that, okay, we'll look into your application. So I think so that also helped me to grab a couple of more interviews.
Okay. I think there is a question, last question, I promise. How is SLOE different from a typical LOR?
Sure. So LOR is basically the doctor, it's like a letter, right? So letter of recommendation. So it will be like passages the doctor will recommend. You will write all the qualities and everything. SLOE is you get on the website called as Cordem, CORDEM, and you have to go there. So you have to get the template. So there are different types of SLOE, O SLOE, E SLOE, and the normal SLOE. And the preceptor, the attending would already know what a SLOE is, and you can just ask him to fill a SLOE where it will be like if you have filled like a mini CX form for your clinical evaluations, where there is marking number 1 from 1 to 5. So the preceptor is going to evaluate to you accordingly, like how well your clinical skills were, how knowledgeable you were. So that is basically a SLOE.
So you don't need a separate LOR, you just need a SLOE from one rotation, or you need both?
So I will tell what I had. So I had 4 letters. All 4 were from emergency medicine physicians. So out of that, 2 were SLOE. One was letter of recommendation from where I did my what I could say, med school. So I did in Caribbean. So that's where I did my emergency medicine rotation. So that was, I could say, outside US LOR. And the 4th one, LOR, was from a research director. He was into emergency medicine department. So all 4 were from emergency medicine physicians, but 2 SLOE and 2 LOR.
Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much, Akash. Much appreciate and congratulations on being a path bearer. I mean, emergency medicine as a visa-seeking applicant is a very, very tough match. So, congratulations. Your hard work really paid off.
Thank you so much. And Thank you for your whole team as well. You guys helped me a lot in everything, mock interviews, PS editing, ERAS CV editing, and especially the rotation setup. So that also really helped, and especially the idea about the program outreach and everything. I believe that really helped me to get a couple of more interviews.
Thank you, Akash. Thanks. All right, as we come towards the end of day one, we will reconvene on day two tomorrow with different set of panelists, different topics. And yes, if you are interested in our match plan, especially as you've heard a lot of things about program outreach, now would be a time to just review those plans and get started early if you are going into the match 2025. With that, I'm going to stop the recording. I will see you tomorrow, same time. So which is 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You will hear another 20 or so speakers. Hopefully that'll come in useful to you and help you in your math journey. Meanwhile, I'll keep this chat box open if you need to grab some links. And otherwise, I am going to see you tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. Thank you to our panelists, all our math students. Hopefully you learned something, all applicants, from their very inspiring journey.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.